There. I think we're live. I thought I'd I thought I'd already gone live, but I forgot I got to click. There's one extra button I got to click. So I think we are now live. I have no idea what it'll be like in the recording. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be looking at removing resources and replacing them with just simple resource types. And I'll explain why. Basically, what we were looking at last week on the stream is... Hang on. I just got to double check everything's working. Yeah, okay, cool. So what we were looking at last week on the stream is these things down here, the special items, and we created these tooltips for them. And one of the issues that I was thinking would come up, and I think I need to now actually do something about, is that these different types of item will get replaced, because as you go through the asteroid belt, the asteroids need to get more difficult. And so what that means is that the easier to mine resources slowly get replaced with harder to mine resources. And what that means is that the recipes required for these different items to be used, you won't be able to mine the items anymore. And so you'll eventually just, won't be able to use these items. So instead, I think we need to focus on resource types instead of individual resources. So if you look in my code here, you'll see I've got a whole bunch of resources already, and each one of them has a different type. And this basically is getting out of hand. Already it's kind of unmanageable, and going forward, I need more variety in difficulty to mine. So that's this health value here. So I actually had on my to-do list adding new resources where each one, basically there's different levels of hardness for it. So you can imagine that the number of resources is just going to balloon over time. And that is tricky for a number of reasons, partly just the visual noise of having all these different things, but also just in terms of trying to make other parts of the game work, like recipes and stuff like that. Sorry, I've added some hotkeys since last time for like zooming in and stuff, and I'm forgetting to zoom out. But so yeah, we need to be able to have different resource types rather than just individual resources. So this whole idea here of adding a whole bunch of new resource types is going to go out the window. We're going to get rid of resources and instead just use the use the material type instead of the material itself. And this idea I've actually stolen very much from Domekeeper. So in Domekeeper, they just have 3 different resource types. I can't remember exactly what they're called. I think one of them is like water, and I think that one's iron and water. Anyway, they've got 3 different resource types, but what they do is each time you play, it applies a different color palette. So it still keeps it visually interesting, but in terms of how the game actually plays, it's nice and simple and easy to grasp. Because currently, like, there are so many resource types that show up here, and you don't know what type they are and stuff. It's just a bit of a nightmare, I think, having so many different resources. So I'm just going to simplify it down to the base types. So I'm going to give that a go. But yeah, if you did watch last week's stream, I have added a few bits more since last time. So you'll notice, if you're in the chat, I've got the shortenings of the numbers. So it now says, 1K and stuff like that, so that if you've got heaps of resources, it doesn't make the numbers blow out too much. And I think, yeah, it does it over here. Oh, it only does it over here for the actual value, not the number that you've collected. Maybe I should do that as well. Oh, hey, Nick. Yeah. So yeah, I've added in that those shortenings, and I've also got in hotkeys now, so I can just press like the numbers on my keyboard to select the different items, and that's a lot better than having to click it every single time. But yeah, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be removing all the different types of resources and replacing them with just simple resource types, but I will be using color palettes to make them interesting still and visually distinct, like they do in Domekeeper. I'm going to have to keep some of these icons, and I'll use them to signify the different resource types. And so that will be good, but I won't have to draw individual icons for every single resource anymore. So I think we can start by just getting rid of all of this. In fact, this whole file can probably go, but that seems a little drastic for the moment. So I think, though, I am just going to do this, which feels so wrong. Oh gosh, what are we doing? Okay, and then I think I might. You know what? I'm just going to comment out this whole file. I'm going to get that back, but I'm going to comment out this whole file and see where it breaks, and we're just going to start again. Oh, hey, sorry, I don't actually know what your name is, 34638A, but I recognize you from the Discord. Shout out. If you have an easier name to say than a bunch of numbers, that would be like even just a nickname or something. That would be stellar. But otherwise, I can commit to the numbers. But yes, it is time for the big rewrite. Hopefully, it won't be that big, but it feels so wrong to comment out all of this. But I mean, I guess if we just run this, see where it breaks, and we start fixing things up. Okay, here we go. Oh my gosh, there's so much to do. Look at all this. We'll see what happens. Okay. I guess we just start at the top and work our way down. All right, I'll call you Blue. That's nice and simple. The third option is tempting though. Okay. So yes. Okay. So this is what we were looking at last stream. I keep trying to say yesterday, but last stream we added in the different costs for the items, and so this should be nice and simple to get rid of. So in item, instead of a resource, actually that's probably what I should comment out. I'm going to comment out this as well. All right. So on the item, it's no longer a resource. It is now. So just for context, I've got this resource type enum here that has the different types. This is probably going to have to change a little bit. Oh, we've got how. I also don't know how to say your name either. Half-Wolf. I hope that was all right. Hello, welcome. So yeah, I've got this resource type file here that is just enums, and this is going to have to pick up a bit of the slack that was probably in the resource and the resource manager. So I'm going to have to probably come and update this a whole bunch. But for the moment, I think what we can do is on the item, this can just be replaced with resource type. And actually we can do that everywhere. I think that's a yes, there is a short key for this. Maybe? No, doesn't like it if it's not. Okay, we're just going to have to do a good old find and replace. Actually, I probably don't want to do it globally just yet. Resource type. Okay. Hopefully it's this easy the whole way. Why are the colors float arrays? Lol. Was that on? That'll be on resource. Oh, so this is because I need to pass it. I pass it through to the shader, and it likes them as yeah. It's a GLSL thing. Blue's got it. Resource type. So that should now be should be able to import resource. Why is that? A classic old not actually checking what I'm replacing when I'm replacing stuff. There we go. So that hopefully is a very nice and easy thing to fix. So this will be, this will be something that we definitely need to figure out is on my resources, they used to all have an int that was the ID, and this was packed, well, it's not really packed. It was put into the, I think the red channel of the thing, because I was explaining last week how the whole terrain system works, and it's all image based. So if I go to here, and so the red channel on all of these pixels dictates what type of tile it is. So, and that's based on that integer ID here in the resource. So each resource type is now going to have to do that. I think these are ordered though, so there should be a I think we can just use the ordinal for that. Nick saying we should be using a class or something for for the GLSL floats. And then okay, pronounce dog. Or see the how thing is throwing me off because the F at the end of your name. I think I'll go for dog if that's all right. Because I'm struggling with the F for some reason. Just feels strange on my in my mouth. Oh, I don't like the phrasing of that either. Sorry, but yeah, I'll go with dog. But yeah, so we're gonna have to. I think we can probably use. So this will be a resource type. So I think we can probably use the ordinal because that should give me. Yeah, its position in the enum declaration. Cool. So I think that should be the easiest way of getting around that. But maybe just for niceness sake, I could make. I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but basically just a wrapper function around around that. So have a what is it? Public int get ID like that, and literally just return the ordinal, just as a bit of a wrapper. Why do I need an ID at all? I've already got the enum. Well, so what I'm doing is the data for the terrain is stored in an image. If you use ordinal and reorder the structure, the ID will change. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll make it a variable, a parameter. But so Nick, the ID is used to actually store the information in the terrain data as an image, and so it's in the red channel of the image, and so I can't put an enum into the image, unfortunately. So it has to be some other data type, and so I've just chosen to use an int. And blue, yes, I think you're right. I'm gonna have to do an ID, and I think I could absolutely get away with just a byte because that's all that is going to be packed into. Actually, that is not where I put that. I put it down here. Byte ID. This dot ID equals ID. That needs to be moved. And we need a private byte called ID. And then we can just return the ID here. Okay, and actually, you know what? Actually, I think I can probably just make that return an int. But I'm going to do that because everywhere that this is used is expecting an int, I think. Would avoid using the ID outside of material loading. That's a good point. I think I take your point. It's new that these are going to be enums. So where were we looking at? We were looking at the item and getting ID here. Yeah, so we should probably be able to just use the enum for this. Yeah, okay. I get your point now. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, so it should only use the ID when it's creating the actual image. Yeah. Blue's no worries, mate. You don't have to apologize. It's good having some constructive feedback. If I was doing this not on stream, you can imagine how hacky it would be. So it's good to have some guidance on this. Hope work goes well. Yeah, we can chat a bit later. But yes, Nick, I understand what you're talking about now. That makes a lot of sense. So everywhere that I was using an ID, I should be able to just use the resource itself as the enum. So that should be a resource type. And these resources is going to be now a map of resource type. Gee, there's going to be a lot of this. I think this stream, I don't know if we're going to end in a spot that is actually usable because this is quite a big change, I think. So we're going to just see where we get to today, and yeah, we'll see where we get to. All right, so add resource. Okay, this will now be there's going to be a lot of breaking changes. So this will be actually a resource type. Add resource like this. Okay, so add resource now expects a resource type. Okay, and this will be a resource type. There's going to be, I'm not sure how interesting this is going to be actually, but hopefully you'll be interested by my losing sanity throughout the day. So set quantity and get quantity will now be a resource type. Might just call this resource for consistency, and this will be resource and a resource type. Yes, okay. Resource list. Resource list. What is this? So that this will be so much of this code is so old. So I'm having to remember what the hell is going on in here. Which you should argue that the code should document itself. I hear you, Nick. I know you're going to say it. It should document itself. I know. It's been a long time, but we'll see how we go. Yeah, exactly, Blue. The voices in my head tell me I'm not insane. It's all good. Everything is okay. Get prices. So yeah, this is a thing that I'm going to have to figure out. So before, back here, you'll see, well, actually, it's probably more clear here, that a resource had a price per unit, and it also had a health, which is essentially how hard it was to mine. And both of these things are now gone. And what I'm thinking is, on the asteroid belt, I can't even run the game to show you anymore. So I'm gonna have to whip up a screenshot. This should do the trick. So in the asteroid belt, as you progress, each asteroid is going to get slightly harder and harder and harder. So I'm going to have to figure out some sort of little calculation for how far into the asteroid belt you are and how that corresponds to the difficulty of each resource type, and then also with the price of that resource type. And I'm thinking there'll be a little bit of fluctuation, so it's not, by this point in the asteroid belt, it's always the same. There will be a bit of variance in it. And in fact, I think what I'll need to do, I don't know if I've got a screenshot of this. Also, this screenshots folder is like completely full. Perhaps use a dereference map that loads the information from a JSON file. Maybe. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get it working with the enums first. Oh, so sorry, is this for the difficulty of the Yeah. Maybe I'll get to the difficulty stuff a bit later on, because that's relying on everything else working first. So I'm gonna just make this usable, and then I will see how we go. Gee, there's some old screenshots in here. Back in the day when it was a card game. Wow, that's that's a throwback. A tangential suggestion: make a resource stack class that just wraps a resource type and a quantity of that resource. I think you're doing a lot of hash map res type int or pair res type int. Trying to figure out what you mean. So make a resource stack class. Oh, I see what you mean. So literally, basically just a pair with the resource type and the int, and then use maybe an array list of them for instead of the hash map. I think though with the hash map, I'll see if how much I'm actually using this. Oh gosh, there's so many errors to fix. Hang on, I'm just gonna bang out some IDs. Probably core should be ID 0, and then honestly, outer should be I'm just going to smash these out. Just so that at least this file is not having a whinge at me. But it still doesn't like it. What's wrong with that? Oh, is it because it... How do I make it a byte? You know what? Just make it stop complaining. Why is this a problem? Resource rarity. Okay, that's a whole different problem. Enum, get my data. From cache will load. Name, ID, string for the file. Contains the info on price, health, etc. Yeah, I have thought about this in the past, the whole storing information in the code versus extracting it to like a JSON file. And I'm not sure how I feel about it, because it's like, on one hand, if I extract it to a JSON file, it means it's not in the compiled stuff. And it does mean, I guess, that people can like play around with it and, you know, semi-mod the game a little bit by fiddling with the JSON file. But I'm not sure, like I haven't set up this game at all to be moddable. And so I think for me, it's like I'm editing one text file or another text file. And I guess it means you can balance things without having to recompile. But I don't know. It seems easier to me to just whack it in the code. It's probably not how you're meant to do things. Like, it's not really proper. But to me, it's just like the data, I'm either typing it into one file or another. And so if it's already just in the code, I guess it takes up more more memory, I guess. But then you're going to be loading it into memory anyway from the file. I don't know. It's an interesting one. I'm gonna have to figure it out. But I think for the moment, I'm just gonna keep it super simple and just leave it all as the enums and expressing logic away from the syntax. Yeah, I suppose so. But I was just gonna have like some really super simple function that just spits out some number, and I use that to multiply. If it helps, your textures will typically be 80% of your final file size. Yeah, well, actually, I don't know. I should actually look that up. I don't know how much my textures are. Let's have a look. Properties. All my textures so far are like less than 2 megabytes. That's the beauty of doing a low-res game. Wonderful. I bet my sounds are probably more than that. Yeah, my sound and music is bigger than that. Multiplication is complicated. All right, I'm gonna think about the difficulty scaling later on. For the moment, I need to get these resource types everywhere that resources once were. So we will get onto that. Yeah, I know my assets are really, really small. The sounds are so much bigger. I wonder if my shaders are probably even bigger. Actually, no, that can't be the case. Where is it? Properties. Yeah, okay, no, that was a ridiculous statement. But the my textures are all really small. Got some old stuff in here as well that needs to be removed. This is something that will be interesting, is my prefabs, because I don't know if you guys, I probably haven't been meaning to make a video about this for a long time, but basically on the asteroids, actually I don't know if I've got a screenshot of this. The new tunnel system is all prefabs, which basically means that I'm pasting in chunks of, I'll look at the caves, chunks of terrain data onto the image and basically pasting it in. But in the case of the bosses, I've only done one boss, but the variation of color is kind of really helpful because you can, put in detail into the boss. And And doing this resource only system is kind of not gonna work too well for that, because I was thinking of just having like a really, really basic color palette. This is a complete work in progress. This is not going to be how it is at the end. But each resource type will have, a select few colors. I think these are the colors that I've already got in the game. I'm also going to get rid of minerals because I don't think they're useful. But so each type is going to have a select palette of things, and then on each given asteroid, it'll only choose one of each of the colors. So I'm going to have to figure out a way of making them all cohesive. I think I might even make like a collection of one of each of these types and have distinct palettes for each asteroid. And then what I'm thinking I can do is for the bosses, I can add in like a color map essentially for the boss information, but the actual asteroid will be using these color palettes. But that is also for later down the track. I got to get this stuff working first. So the item class should nearly be done. So get quantity, we can just directly use the actual resource type. Nick, I know what you mean about wrapping these up, because it is a bit gross, the pair class. And I know you were saying this last week as well. It is a little bit gross, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I'm going to try and get what I used to have. I'm going to try and get that working as well. Okay, so the item manager I can just do like resource type dot like powder. Yeah. See, this will be much nicer. And instead of that, I can do like rock. And this can be, just for simplicity, I'm going to make these powder as well. So yeah, hopefully it'll simplify things a lot having just these resource types. I think it'll also just like, from a user point of view, there's so many resources already, and it doesn't make any sense that there are so many resources. It's just like so difficult to keep track of each individual thing. And now that I'm trying to make things cost resources, it's too much, I think, having all these different individual resource types. So I think I'm on the right track with this change. It was kind of a big commitment to make, but we're going to get there. Okay, so the item stuff is fixed for the moment. Okay, this is going to be a big old change, isn't it? Jesus, what have I gotten myself into? All right. Let's see. So resource and resource manager are gone. But we will need resource type. Oh, resource instance. The heck is that? Oh yeah, so this is so, I don't even know if this is used anymore. You used to be able to like mouse over an individual pixel of the map, and it would tell you it would like extract the health data from it and stuff. I'll leave that for the moment because we might still use that. All right. So what's going on down here? Oh, it's a lot of red. So add resources. This will be resource type to integer now. So that should fix the add resources. That's good. So what am I doing? Oh, wow. Look at this. There's a card pos in there. That's funny. So that should probably be... Yeah, this is like player pos. Okay, so... So what have we got going on here? So this is just getting resource list by type. Oh, so this is... yeah, okay, this is silly. So resources for each. So this should be a resource type. And I think, just get rid of that because we don't need that anymore. okay, so this is another thing that I'm going to have to think about. So on the resources, there was, for whatever reason, I had it separated out into, there was resource types, but then there was also, for some reason, like this rarity level. And this was like semi-precious and precious and just like normal. And also the core for some reason. And I was using that, I think what I was doing in here was that I was using that to then change, like you don't want to see a billion particles if you're just like chewing through some rock. So I was reducing the number of particles if it was a boring resource. But I think I'll be able to just use the resource type for that now. So if it's like powder or rock, or probably mineral as well, it's not exciting at all. So I can do the same thing. So I think if we say, if resource, no, this should be resource. Jesus. I cannot type today for some reason. So if the resource type is powder or resource type. So I wish you could do that where you could like chain things like this. So if resource type equals this or that, then it does something. Maybe there is a way of doing that. I don't know it. Or if resource type equals that, then we want to do this. Okay, and then so I'm going to have to figure out, there's going to have to be some like manager class, or actually maybe it'll be on the actual world itself. It'll have to store the palette. So then I'll have a map probably from the resource type to the palette color. And so I will have to use that for this, because the display color. Yeah, so I had a, I think I created a, where is the display color? Yeah, so it creates the display color from this. So I'm going to have to, that's going to have to be in the palette information stuff. So that's going to, I don't know what I'm going to do there for the moment. I might just, so where are we here? Resources. So I'm going to create a new Java class. Yeah, so I'm going to make a, color manager. That's a good name for it. I also like that you've got the good old Australian, or I guess British spelling, not the American one. Let's go. Australia represent. Okay, yeah, so color manager. And this will essentially... Actually, I don't know if... a color... I basically just need somewhere that's got the palette information. And then I can just basically use an index. So on the asteroid itself... Oh, you're in Brisbane. So am I. Let's go. That's so good. Yeah, so on the asteroid itself, I think is probably where I'll store this, because I'll need this information basically everywhere this asteroid's used. Because I think on the asteroid belt screen, I can't believe I don't have a screenshot of this. I want one with the asteroid information, like with the hover information, but it's not there. Also, these screenshots are old, I think, because I don't have the... I need to update the Steam page. That's a whole nother thing, though. I was hoping I had one with like the hover information of the asteroid, just so I can explain what I'm talking about, but I don't know if I do. But basically, yeah, I think the asteroid is where it'll store which palette it's using, but then I just need something that has all the palettes in it. So I'll need to figure that out. I'm going to leave this for the moment. This is like a to-do thing. Sort out color palette stuff for the resource types. Who needs colors when you got colons? So true. So true. Okay, so get display. Okay, this is. I'll get back to that. So get display color for the moment. Just gonna be like. I'm just gonna make it white and just not think about it for the moment, and I'll come back to that. Okay, so if it's rare, so maybe what I should do, because I was instead of having a rarity thing, maybe on the enum, the resource type, I can have like an is precious or something like that. A really Golem style thing to do, but an is precious, so that I can say if it's not precious, do this, and if it is precious, so you see here I was doing like, and then I think I'll just get rid of semi-precious because I don't like it's either precious or it's not, you know. I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna do an is precious in here. Public boolean is precious and return this. Equals powder. Oh no. Actually, maybe it's is not. No, I'll leave it as is precious, but then return not this equals powder or this equals rock. Rarity scale. Whoa. That is tempting. That is tempting. But I think I'm going to keep it the way it is at the moment. I like that as a future idea. But I think because I've already just got it working on this like well, it's not binary. It had 3 different types, I think. But you know, it was like a distinct. What am I trying to say? Not continuous. Discrete. Yeah, because it's already discrete. I'm going to leave it as discrete for the moment, but I do kind of like that idea. So if resource type dot is precious, and this should be if resource type dot not is precious. Super rare materials. Well, so the bloom I've got at the moment is based a lot on the brightness, but also the saturation of the color. I might need to tweak this though, but given that I will know the resource type in the bloom shader, I can probably make it, more bloom for more better. Rocks are 0 with a matte finish. Metals are 0.2, so they're slightly reflective. Yeah, well, so here's the thing, right? Is that now there is no longer a concept of gold versus other metals. They're all just metals. And so it will just be like metal. But the color could be gold or it could be a silver. I mean, again, refer to this horrible chart here. For the metals, there's this gold one here and more silvery ones. But yeah, I do like this idea of more glint and more shimmery effects for better stuff. And I think that'll be more possible now with this probably. Because before, I think there were probably some resources that were like... actually, no, because I think the resource type maybe had the... How is the resource rarity being set? Oh, so it must have been in that ad. So I had it based on... Okay, yeah, no, I had different functions for each different rarity type. So I think, in theory, there were probably Yeah, so like here there were semi-precious powders, but that's not going to be a thing anymore because all the powders will just be the powders and all the I don't know why. See, this was the other thing. I was trying to like think of like common items that could fit into these different types of resource type, which just doesn't make sense. So anyway, sorry, I'll get back on track. So we've now got on the resource type whether it is precious or not, and I can use that in here for this stuff. And so what's this? Get resource Y. Oh, good God, what is this? Okay, so the inventory. So what is this resource list used for? Graphite. Yeah, well, this would have been good. I should have asked you like a year ago when I was doing some resource stuff, but there will no longer be any of that. It's just powder, just an unknown powder. Okay, so why am I using this resource list? Oh, I think I know what this was for. It was because when I'm displaying, I'm relying so much on the screenshots here. Thank God I've got some. So here, when I'm displaying the things that you've already mined, I want to be able to just iterate over this. This is again what I was talking about this last week, but um the programming in Go makes me always not want to iterate over a hash map or a map of any kind for this sort of thing. I think it's also and so I have an array list as well that just keeps track of which. Okay, so I know what's going on now. This is so get resource Y. I can pass the resource type in there. So this should now take a resource type, and then resource list index of resource type. Okay, that's done. I think the resource list was just another way to sneak IDs in. Yeah, exactly. There are IDs everywhere, so we'll be finding every single one of them. So don't you worry. So resource. I can get rid of. So this is another thing. Is I'm gonna need. Gonna need a. I've just accidentally moved into a completely different file now. I'll get back to this one. I'll fix up this file first. I just want to like get through one file at a time and close them off. So what's it complaining about here? Why do I need the ID? Seeking particle. Oh, resource particle. So this should now be the resource type. Yeah, okay. And so now, this is a slightly dodgy thing that I've got, by the way. Is I got this like event system that just takes an arbitrary object, and so I just got to. It's honestly very much like using JavaScript, and you just got to keep on top of what things are which. It's interesting that I don't have that in the stats. Oh no, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, no, that's all good. But yeah, this event system. Where was it? Event manager. Yeah, it just takes like an arbitrary thing. It's very JavaScripty in Java, which is the whole reason that people hate JavaScript is because it doesn't type things, and it's a bit slow. I think there's a lot of reasons, and people hate on Java as well. I think every programming language, everyone just hates every programming language. But yeah, there's some dodgy shit. I shouldn't have shown Nick that file. I'll close that. You're not gonna look at that again, Nick. Don't worry. Pretend it doesn't exist. So last thing in this again is the. Oh yeah, so the fog uses like the top level of strata materials. It uses that thing's display color. So again, this is going to have to be a. Yeah, this is going to have to be a on the color palette thing. So for the moment, I'm just going to make this Game dot. Gonna make the fog just white for the moment, and we'll again deal with that once we get to the palette stuff. Oh, were there ads? I don't know how. I think I can probably turn that off somehow. Let me see if I can help you guys out. I don't know if I can do it. I think I probably needed to do that beforehand, but I don't know whether. I don't know. I don't know how to turn that off. Sorry. I think you're just gonna have to. I'll try and I'll make a note for next time. Yeah. I'll Sorry about that. Okay. So where were we? I think given the dodginess we're doing with the color for the moment, I think this file is done. So I can shut that. And we were in this inventory file, which probably has a lot of bad stuff in it. Why is this having a whinge? Oh, that would be good. Yeah, there we go. That's nice. Oh, yes. You're right. You're right, Nick. What file was that? That was World Controller. Oh. Good shout. And there was another one, wasn't there? Where was that? That color here. Yes. Good. All right. So moving on, that file we're 3 files down. We're 3 files down out of a lot. But that's okay. File by file, we will get there. So, okay, this is another probably to do thing. But this will be a resource type. This will be a resource type. So what this will do? No, don't need to do that anymore. Resource. So yeah, this I will have to figure out what I'm going to do. I'm just going to whip that out and then put another to do. To do calculate prices for resource types. And then we can put the resource, the prices, and the prices, that should be a resource type as well. Material price, again, this should be a resource type. Close your eyes, Nick. You shouldn't have to witness how many how many things are going wrong here. Okay, if material price is dirty, then we can update. Going through each of the resource IDs. We're getting the prices. Okay, yeah, so this is... I'm sure that there's probably a nicer way of doing this. Just glad things are being refactored. Yeah, look, it should be a lot nicer now. Hopefully. I'm gonna call that resource types like that. So then we can get the type and add the price into the total price. Okay, good. Yeah, I was talking about this last week. This is a bit gross, having the display encode for the inventory inside the inventory class. Maybe I should extract that, but maybe I should do that as a separate refactor. Just focus one refactor at a time. One refactor at a time. Okay, so the hover resource, yes. So this will now be a resource type. And again, this will be a resource type. I keep trying to call things resource when I should probably call them resource type. Okay, so that gets the number again. The icon. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to put a to do here as well. To do sort out resource type icons. And for the moment, I think I have got. Actually, I think if I just pass in nothing, it'll give me the unknown icon. I can just use that directly. Cool. This is like a default unknown. It just puts in a little question mark icon, which is very handy. So okay, so this can be, nope. This can be the resource type. Price is for the resource type. Thankfully, I think a lot of this is just going to be converting ints into the resource type, which is kind of nice. If hover resource does not equal, okay, this was again in here. I must have had some drawing code. So I am going to move this right now into the draw file. Ooh, I shouldn't have opened this up. Look at that. Gross. Okay. Resource instance info panel. So it should probably go here. And this will be resource hover instance panel. Okay, and then we'll need the resource type, and so we can use the resource type dot. They're like to I swear there's like a. Oh, I've got the static. Okay, dot name. There we go. That's what we want, and then again here. And that's, a mouse panel. So that should be all good. I'm going to close my eyes on this file for the moment, and we can come back to that after we've finished the inventory one. And so this can now be draw.hoverinfo panel. And that's not what it's called anymore. I was thinking, why is that not working? So resource hover info panel, and we can pass in the hover resource. And why does that not? Did I make it private? No. Oh, I need to make it static. There we go, and that should be in use now. Yes, okay, so I think the inventory's done, and we can move on. This one, hopefully this one will just be... Oh, actually, no, there will be a bit of bad stuff in here, I think. We'll find out. We'll find out how bad it is. We just got to charge on. Don't think about it too much and just get into it. So the resource instance info panel. So actually we probably need to fix up here first. So this will be a resource type. Resource type. Resource type. Go. That wasn't so bad, was it? We just did another whole file. How good. Okay. So that's done. So that should mean that now when we go back here, this should be a resource type, and it won't complain about that. Good. Okay, and then this will be resource name, like that. Good. Ah, yes. So this will again, this is another to-do thing. To-do calculate max health for resource type. So this will be, again, one of those things that's on the asteroid, I would imagine, because each asteroid will have slightly different... I'll probably have it so that each resource type has there's like an overall hardness of the asteroid, and then there'll probably be like slight tweaks to that that'll hover around like a multiplier on the difficulty for each individual resource type. So it'll hover around 1, but some might be slightly below 1, some might be slightly above 1, just to make it a bit varied, I guess. And so we don't need to put the type in anymore because the type is the thing that is being displayed. So that's cool. That's good. Next one. What's this? Asteroid. Okay, so yeah, this is. I'm going to have to. Maybe I should do the asteroid next. Oh, this is going to be a scary one. Oh, there's actually. It's not that scary at all. Yet. How is this not having a bigger whinge? Maybe I'm not in the file I think I should be in. Ah, yeah, so it'll be the... Yeah, okay. So it's the world parameter. Yeah, okay, this is the one that I thought was going to be a bit scary. But hopefully it actually won't be too bad. So resource type for the strata materials. Good, good, good. Hopefully it's just a lot of copying, pasting, this sort of thing. Well, actually, so you know what? We're going to get rid of the semi-precious. No, that's not true, is it? Maybe we do still need the semi-precious because, so in the old world, well, in the current world generation, this would be a good one to show. I keep forgetting that I can zoom in. Well, hey, that's fun. So yeah, there's like the main strata bits, which is like these big chunks of resource types. But then there's occasionally these bigger pockets, and these are the semi-precious materials, and then the precious materials are the ones that are like dotted around like this. But the semi-precious ones can take up a whole chunk in the world generation. So I might still need to think about how we go about that. So I'm going to leave the semi-precious in for the moment, but I will have to think about how that's done. And then these, I honestly, I know I'm gonna cop some hate for this, but I might honestly hard code these because there's literally gonna be like this many. Maybe I can keep the mineral as a semi-precious because I was originally thinking I would completely get rid of it, as you can see in my diagram here. But maybe I keep that as a semi-precious thing. But anyway, I was thinking maybe I just hard code these. What do you think, Nick? Yeah, I think I can do this. What do you think, Nick? This is a direct call out to you. Should I hard code them? Okay. See, this is something I got to figure out. I'm using the number pad to do the hotkeys in OBS to do the like zooming and changing screens and stuff, but it's just the number pad, so it puts numbers in my code. Anyway, these materials here are going to be the same pretty much. Actually, maybe there will be a bit of variation. But the actual list of materials, I think, will be the same. And then it's just choosing different ones from it. I'm going to have to think about that. So what's this doing? Strata materials is getting... Yeah, so this is like getting a random selection of the... I accidentally delete something. Yeah, I did. Okay. That makes more sense. So yeah, I think these are going to have to be maybe hard-coded. Because this... Yeah, so this will be just a... I think you can make array lists in place, can't you? Or no, you've got to do like arraylist.from or like arrays.from. No? Maybe I can do a new resource. This is probably temporary, I think, maybe. Maybe it's not temporary. We'll see what happens. I always say things are temporary and then they have a way of sticking around for forever. So the resource type, and then I can do like resource type dot mineral. How about that? Why don't you like that? What's wrong with that? I think there's like an arrays dot from. Maybe it's collections dot from. Arrays dot As list, that's what it is. As list. But it still doesn't like it. Oh, that. Hmm. I think. Oh, so you can just. Oh, okay, I'll try it as just. For some reason, I didn't think that would work, but I'll give it a try. Hmm. Yeah, no. There's definitely some way of doing this. I'm sure I've done this before, but maybe these don't need to be array lists because they could probably just be. I think this could just be an array. Oh well. Hmm. Oh, okay. Cool. Thank you. So new array list, and then oh, oh. Arrays. Okay, yeah. How did I always? I always hit caps lock. Arrays dot as list, and then resource type dot mineral. Okay, cool. Thank you. That's brilliant. Although it's why doesn't it? Oh, it's having a whinge that I've only got one thing in there. I want a list of one thing. Let me do it, Java. Actually, I guess it's more IntelliJ. Java does let me do it. So the strata materials will be the powder and resource type dot rock, and then the precious. Very tempted to do a golem voice, but I'm not going to do it. Precious is going to be like the metal and resource type dot gem. And the core is its own thing, so that can stay as it is, I think. Okay, cool. And then this will be a resource type. Okay, this was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about all this. Maybe make this a lot nicer. But I think it's not the worst. Maybe this is just copium. I think this might be copium, but I think it's not that bad because I mean, there's not very many different material types anymore. Because before, like, this was going through all of these sorts of things, and there were a lot of things in there. So it was nice to have these. Where was I? Well, params. Yeah, it was nice to have these not hard coded. But now I'm think this is fine. It'll be more the palette that changes to give things variety. So anyway, yes, world params is done, which means that in here we can now put these as resource types. That's what we were doing. Resource type. Good. Okay. And then what do we do? Resource list. This is expecting. Don't need. Oh, that's because there's like precious and semi-precious and stuff. So this can just be resource type now. Cool. Good. Oh yes, yeah. I did a commit just before I undertook all of this, so don't worry. I can go back if I need to. It's all good. Because yeah, this is a monster change. I wouldn't dream of just like. Imagine if this was the only copy of the code. Whew, that would be fun, wouldn't it? That would be fun. You know what? I'm going to do a thing here where I put a public image icon. And for the moment, we're just going to return. Oh my goodness. Common dot unknown icon. And put a big to do. And then there was another place. Oh, I should have put a to do somewhere else because there was a Maybe it was in here where I was using the icon. An icon. Uh-oh. You know what I gotta do? I gotta find this. Otherwise it'll be bugging me. Unknown. Oh, this is not what I want to do. Common dot unknown icon. Where did I do that? Inventory. That's the one. Cool. That's better. That's better. Good. That's good. All right. Okay. So this is another thing. The KPIs. I don't think that they're any good at all. So you know what? I'm just going to save myself from work and do that. Actually, you know what? No, it'll be very quick to fix, and then I can... Actually, no, it's not worth it. I don't think the KPIs... So the KPIs, I think I was explaining this last stream, they're kind of a way of trying to get people to diversify what they're mining for a little bit. But now that won't really be such a big thing because it'll be more based on the resource type. And this whole thing also plays in a lot nicer with the drill setup stuff as well, because there can be different parts that are very specifically targeting different types, which I have got, but now it's going to be so much more obvious what those different types are while you're mining, which is good. But before it was like, is this random blue colored thing, what resource type is that? So that should be good. But the KPIs, I'm not sure if they're necessary anymore. So that's good. I like that because they sort of cluttered everything and were not good. They kind of fit the theme well of, like corporate overlord sort of vibe. But maybe there's a way of rejigging it so that it works well. Because I think it fits the theme, but I think in terms of gameplay and how they're actually put in the game, doesn't work at all. So I will have to think about that. But I think as they are, they're going to have to go. So I wasn't even really looking at what that was. Item info tooltip. Cool. Yeah, I think that's all good. Yes, that's all good. Okay. Resource type. I bet once I get this to the point where there's like it compiles, it's still going to be wacky because all the world generation and stuff will be just all over the place. So we'll see what's going on when we get there. If we get there in this stream. Maybe I should have started this off stream and then shown the victory on screen. But maybe I can do another stream where I can do another stream soon. This is... Don't need to do that anymore. Cool. So this is what this is. Oh yeah, so this was another thing. So last stream we did the tooltip for the items while we were in gameplay, and I have done the tooltip for when you're in the inventory actually selecting them, because the gameplay one has the bar that fills up over time as you're putting the guts back in. Yeah, exactly. That'll be the next stream. Yeah, so we did the gameplay tooltip, but this I also off screen did the one on the menu when you're like unlocking or upgrading. But that needs a little bit more work as well because I need to actually figure out what the upgrade stuff is. So it'll eventually this bit here. I'm not very good at putting in to-dos for myself, am I? Although I have got a ticket for this, so I do know that I need to come back to this, but I need to figure out what the new cost is. And so it'll show if you're upgrading something, it'll show, the before and after the upgrade stuff. But so that's it for the draw file. That's sweet. Okay, so asteroid, that's got an error, but it's not too bad, and it's all color related stuff. So I think, so this is because the actual icons for the asteroid. I don't know if they are in this one, but they are generated. Is that really the last screenshot I've got of that? Anyway, it uses the material information to know how to color these. So again, these will just be based on the palette. So I'm just going to do a big to-do here. To-do use resource or use asteroid palette info for this. And then I can just get rid of these for the moment because they're just tinting the image when I draw it. So I can just get rid of that. So that's good. Okay. When I run this, I'm going to see what else breaks. Okay, game manager. I don't like the names I've got for everything. I find Java, I struggle coming up with names for things. And Java forces me to come up with so many names for things. Check KPI. Okay, so this is, again, KPI stuff. I'm just going to do this. Don't tell anyone. Shh, this is our little secret. Is that a really big mirror? Yeah, no, it is. It's a massive mirror. I wish the room was that big. Hang on, I can probably show you better if I go like this. Yeah, so there's a cupboard back there with a mirror on it. I wish the room was this big though. Imagine that. Oh, you can see me moving stuff around in the mirror. That's cool. And whoa. Okay, sorry. I'll get back on track. Where were we? Abstract world asteroid builder factory singleton. Exactly. I need that. Okay. KPI stuff. Just delete it. Yep. Get rid of this. Boom. Good. What was that even doing? I was checking if. Yeah. Okay. I was checking if it was completed and stuff. Don't need that anymore. I'm glad you like the mirror. That's cool. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it because it's like. It is nice. No, it's nice. I like it. It is big though. Could add really big mirrors that may. So that's getting into like Portal territory. Having massive mirrors like that. I think it would also be like a bit of a rendering nightmare because you got to do the whole mirror thing. Okay, resource under. I won't have to do this anymore. You know what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to have some way of going from the ID back to the resource type. Maybe just at startup, I can just create a map that goes from ID to the resource type. Because the reason for that is in here. So I get the resource at this given location, and it gets the ID. So this is actually checking the image data that stores all the information for the terrain, and so it gets me the actual ID. And this is unique. This is where the crossover between the enums and the ints has to happen. So I'm gonna have to figure that out. But so yeah, this gets me the actual ID, but then I need to figure out the actual resource type based on that ID. So maybe I should just quickly do that now. Or maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I do not need to do that now. I should do it now. Do I revive the resource manager and have it just for this one thing, or do I add a static like map onto the resource type and just have a little initiation function? Actually, what do I call? I have a when I'm loading everything. what do I probably just call everything load. Yes, I got load resources. Maybe I should just do resource type dot load resources. I'll come back to that other stuff that's going wrong. Load resources. So resource type. This will be a static. Wouldn't expose the ID more than needed. Yeah, so maybe I just keep it all in this resource type thing. Oh, so don't put it in the resource type. So should I just have like, do you reckon just a resource manager class, revive that, and have it like remove the ID from the resource type, and then have it all in the resource manager? Don't know. Maybe, okay, so maybe I revive resource manager and have it just do the link between the ID and the resource type. Okay, I'll go with that. I'll go with that. But I don't actually, I'm going to do that at the end because I don't want to uncomment this yet. Where does it read the actual pixel data? Where were we? Game manager. So the world controller reads it from the current world. Oh, we're going to see a lot of errors in here. That location and then resource ID. So it reads it down here, very deep. Yeah, so it's getting the red info from the pixels. Yeah, this is where it's actually reading it. So should it, you're saying it should convert it into a resource type here. That's probably true. But I don't know if it should handle the conversion. You reckon? You reckon put the... Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Could even just be a nice big switch statement. Yeah, this is definitely the class that's used for resource. Yeah, true. No, I think you're right. I don't know how your intuition is just bang on, spot on. Okay, so this will, but see the problem. The problem is that the world gets created and destroyed. So these worlds get created and destroyed. So I guess it's just a static thing on there. Yeah, it's just a static thing. Don't worry. I figured it, big brained it. It's just a static thing. Okay. Have I got static stuff in here? Static. I do, but not very much. I'm just gonna whack it right at the bottom so I never have to look at it. So we will have a public static void load. I guess I'll just call it load world. And so then in here we can do a world dot load world, and this will generate the map. Why does it not like this? Hmm. I think it's yeah, when you've got a yeah, this is pretty dumb. I've got a package that's the same name as a class inside it. Kind of silly. Load world. What's wrong with that? Nothing. Okay. The intuition is really just solid. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're just a better programmer than me, is what that means. Okay, so when we're loading the world, we need to generate the map that goes from IDs to resource types and vice versa, because I'm going to get rid of that and get rid of the ID on here as well. And eventually these colors will actually be gone as well, because that will all be in the palette information. So maybe I should just do that now as well. Just get rid of the whole lot and make them nice and simple. I mean, eventually there'll probably be stuff in here, like the icon and the base price and things like that. So I will leave a constructor here, but I'm just going to do that. In fact, I think I can just do that for the moment, which is so nice. Cool. And then I'll put a to-do in here. Add necessary stuff. Such a descriptive to-do message. Okay, so the color, when is this used? Why would that use? Oh, this is yeah, I forgot about this. Okay, so this is so in my drill I used to have sprites for the drill, but now it generates them. And there are drill bits that are specifically good for different types of resource, and there used to be just a single color for each resource type. But now that's not necessarily the case, because each asteroid you go to, each resource type is different. So I don't know how to communicate on the drill that is different, but that will be an issue to figure out. Okay, so what were we doing? We were loading these. So, okay, so yes, at the very top, get rid of that. You can have a private static hash map that goes from integer to resource type, and we call this ID to types. We have a private static hash map that goes from the resource type to the integer, and we call this types to ID. And then down the very bottom, we say ID to types equals a new hash map. And we say that types to ID is a new hash map as well. Oh, what's this? Why would I want that? Why would I want that at all? Or maybe I could do that because it initializes it with. I do know how many mappings there will be, but I'm sure it doesn't. No, I'm gonna leave it. Stick to the old ways. Okay, so basically, maybe I should make a little public static void load type, and it takes a resource type And actually, I'll put the int ID at the start. I'm going to have to remember to update this. Maybe I don't have... Okay, time to admit something very bad. There are no tests in this code base. I'm sorry. But there should be a test that checks that I've loaded in as many things as there are. But anyway, I'm going to say id to types dot put id and type, and then types to id dot put type and id. And then actually I probably don't have to remember to do this. Actually, no, I do need to, because the whole point of this, because I was going to say I can just use the order, but then I can just use the ordinal. No errors equals all tests passed. Exactly. I guess it's more the logic, like unit testing and stuff, that is important. But no errors is always my sort of benchmark for things going well. So I guess the whole point of this is to be able to give resource types a specific ID. So I guess I'll just have to do them all. So I can say load type 0 will be resource type dot core. And I can load type 1 will be resource type dot powder. Load type 2 will be rock. 3 can be mineral. And then I think 4 and 5 will be gem and metal. And I think that's all of them. Powder, rock. I'm gonna put these in the same order, just for my own mental keeping track of things. So I think it was like that: core, powder, rock, mineral, gem, metal. Core, powder, rock, mineral, gem, metal. Cool. So that now means, what's my plan for the next few months? That is an excellent question. So I'm sort of trying to do two different things at once, I guess. I'm trying to do the Star Mining Co stuff, but then I also have in the background planned a few more shader tutorial stuff. And I'm also, if you've seen on the Discord, I've been doing some more of the shadow stuff, and I've got it working on, I think, like the second shadow video. Here, I can do this while I'm just chatting. On the second shadow video, I think there was a lot of suggestions, or maybe it was even on the first one, to use MIP maps. Like if I can use a custom MIP map, I can really speed up the shadow generation and also make it work on like not just slopey, smooth terrain, but on like anything. Like as in height map data that's got like a vertical bit in it. So I have got that working in P5.js, but P5.js is a terrible environment to do that in, because they're trying to abstract so much and simplify everything that you can't get into the nuts and bolts. So one of my plans is to, and I'll probably maybe think about doing this on stream and then also make it into a video later, is to figure out how to use Godot and use that to remake all the Shadow Island stuff. Yeah, exactly. P5 is just not good for it. I think WebGL is fine for it, but P5, like if you're using P5, you're using it for the abstractions, and then I don't want the abstractions anymore. So I'm going to use Godot, I think. And a big part of the reason for doing this is I want to be able to use floating point textures, which I think P5 kind of handles, but every time I've tried, it doesn't work very well. And what that will mean is that I can generate height maps in Blender and then be able to use them in my demo of the thing. But I made some really crappy, I'll just show you. Let me get this up. I made not logged in. Hang on. I made a really crappy painting thing that would paint the the shadows because I don't have anything that will, like, I couldn't use Blender or anything to do it. So, but yeah, that is the goal with this, is that eventually I will be able to. Sorry, I'm just getting the chat back up. Yeah, so you could like paint something in and it would create the height map, but you can see it's kind of glitchy. There's like weird ridges and stuff. So oh yeah, I'm on add mode, so I should be able to like make tall things. You know, so I made this. It's pretty garbage. And then you could like you can't. Oh, of course. Sorry, I'm not good at doing this yet. And I'm probably in the way a bit. Yeah, how about that? And then I can do this. I think. Yeah. Sorry. I'm not in the habit. I've only just figured out how to do the hotkey thing. So sorry about that. But yeah, so this is like the painting program here. If I just reset it, you can like draw different things with it. It's really bad, and this is why I want to be able to use Blender to be able to create the height maps, because this is just trash. But yeah, so then this I was able to then create these tile-based shadows. Oh, I don't know what. Oh, I've just got a test sprite in. I think I posted on the Discord. There was a one. I'll see if I can get it up. I think I have it somewhere. But yeah, so the shadow stuff is a lot of fun, but I need to figure out how to do it not in P5.js so that it's actually kind of like a usable thing. Let me see where I've got it. Have I got it here? What's this? I think this is it. This was stupid. But yeah, you can like have the shadows are like pixel perfect basically for terrain that isn't necessarily smooth like the island was, which is kind of cool. So it is that is on the cards as well. So that'll be, you know, before trying Godot, maybe check out Kotlin. Is that? I'll Google that. I don't know what I've heard it, but I don't know what it is. Oh yeah, so it is the Java one. I thought it might have been the Java one, but it's not Java, but it is a little bit Java. Yeah, maybe I should check that out. See, this is the thing, is I've also been thinking maybe instead of going down the whole actual full-on game engine route, I should go down the framework route, and do that. Yeah. I'll check it out. But yeah, essentially the idea is to make the shadow stuff actually work in an environment that makes sense. So that'll be coming out. But yeah, next few months will be more Star Mining Co., more shader tutorials, and hopefully the island like shadow stuff as well, which is kind of a shader tutorial, but also not really a tutorial. Don't really know. But yeah, that is what is on the cards. Write it in raw C and OpenGL. Absolutely not. Definitely not. I've learnt my lesson about doing things completely from scratch. Well, I'm not even doing it completely from scratch because I'm using processing for the graphics stuff, which has also been a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. I've been very bad at choosing which frameworks to be using. Like, I think processing and I think P5.js are excellent tools for getting started with all this sort of stuff. But in terms of doing, like, you know, bigger projects, they don't make any sense at all. I've been looking, I was thinking about checking out Bevy, I think it's called, but I've never used Rust, so I don't know if that will be worthwhile. I think it's Rust, isn't it? Yeah, it's Rust. But there's a whole bunch of, like, code-only frameworks that I kind of like the idea of more. Yeah, yeah. Need to remake Minecraft. I'll basically be making like a 2D top-down version of Minecraft with shadows, so I can maybe I can use that as a marketing point for the videos. Rust is super hard. Don't. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I'll see. Because I've done. I think I did like some intro little course on it once, and it was a bit how you going. But I did C and stuff at uni, so I've got a little bit of experience with the low level stuff, but not a whole bunch. I'll see. I know there are a whole bunch of frameworks out there. You just got to choose one, I guess, and go for it. But anyway, where were we? So we can. I'll get back to the refactoring stuff now. And we were. Oh, I'm still zoomed in. I'm so sorry. I'm so bad at these hotkeys. I need to figure out a better way of keeping up to date with them. Anyway, so we've now got the maps that go from the ID to the resource and from the resource to the ID. So we can. Where were we? We were getting the resource at a location here. Okay, and so this should not return an int anymore. This should return a resource type. And these names are bad. It says resource. So this is another interesting thing. Maybe this should just return. No, it's not interesting. I'll just return null. I remade Minecraft with shaders. That would be kind of cool. Actually, I was thinking another thing that I might try in the future is I think it would be a lot of fun, especially if I do like a vertex shader tutorial sort of thing. It might be fun to do that in an environment that everyone knows. So I was actually thinking maybe I should make a Minecraft shader mod and use that as like the testing ground for all these shaders, because then it's something people are very familiar with, and it would be fun. It'd be fun to make some Minecraft shaders and just make them some wacky shaders. But remaking Minecraft in a shader, Minicraft, is Minicraft a different thing, or is that a typo? Maybe it's a real thing. It is a real thing. Shit. I can just play it online. Yeah, so I guess I'll basically have this, but but with shadows. Although, see, this was the other thing I was struggling with. I was trying to make some nice tiles to use in my demo for the tile map based shadows, and it just they were. I don't possess a lot of art skill. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So we need to get the resource. We need to get the resource from the ID. So that should be the ID to types dot get. I think I want to do get or default, because I think if the I think if it doesn't exist in the map, it throws an exception rather than. Actually, I can just return this. I don't know why I did that on a separate line. Minecraft looks garbage, don't worry. Actually, maybe I could just use Minecraft textures. But I think the thing is, I want to make it different from just a Minecraft thing, because the whole point is that you can have the height maps in there. So having something more nuanced than just like a straight blocky thing. I did try. I'll see if I've got this. I did try making these sort of town-based ones, but I think I nuked it. So yeah, I tried making this town-based one. So there's different height things in here, but they're not good. Like they're just not good. So, but I think having access to like being able to use Blender for it would be a lot better. Minecraft, but smooth. Yeah. But yeah, so that should be fun. Sorry, getting back to this now, we have the ID to types. So that's what you wanted to do for yeah. Because I was thinking it would be really good for like a tower defense game or something like that. Being able to have shadows in a tower defense game, or like something like that. Something top down, but or even like an RTS or something, I guess. But I think because of the new method that I use, you have to create the MIP map each time you update the height map. And so for me, when I was doing that in JavaScript, at least, it wasn't quite real time. I'm sure there's probably a way of doing it, but it took like, well, actually, it wasn't quite real time, meaning it was nowhere near real time. It was like 200 milliseconds or something like that. Yeah, but yeah, so I think it's not quite real time, but something like a tower defense or something where you're just placing a tower and then you update it once you place a tower would be cool. Anyway, that's for the future. So I will get back to the this for the moment. So this world file I'm going to have to come back and revisit, but for the moment this resource is no longer being used, but it should in here. So I won't need to do, I don't think I will need to do this anymore. Yeah, I can just do this directly. Was I using a shader? Yeah, so the MIP maps were, I had to use, I mean, it's very, have I still got it open? No, I don't. Do I not? No. Let me try doing this until, yes, okay. So, in here, not that, mipmap.frag. Basically what I had to do is, as the mipmap scales down, I want the maximum height pixel in a region. And so basically what I do is I look at the 4 neighbors. Well, I have to figure out, so I have the image coming in, which is the higher resolution mipmap, so that it takes in the image and it's going to produce 1 level down on the mipmap. And so I need to get the 4 corners of the current location, and I can unpack them using this horrible bit packing stuff and get the height, and then I figure out what the maximum height of those 4 corner pieces is, and then put that back in as 1 level down on the mipmap. So I think I posted on the Discord as well something to do with that. I think maybe this one. So actually this might, yeah, I think this is the working one. So as it goes lower and lower resolution, you're getting just the highest bit of the terrain, and so you can use that to take massive steps. But yeah, this is the shader that does it. It basically just figures out which pixel has the maximum height. All right. So resource at location. So yeah, this now no longer needs to do this. So resource instance should just take a resource type as the resource. I should call it resource type. And I can get rid of that. I don't know why these are public and this is private, and then I've got getters for this but not for that. Very inconsistent programmer. Okay, so this dot resource type equals resource type. Set resource, don't need that, just have a getter and we return the resource type. That's good. So then in here, oopsie daisy. So then we can say resource type equals current world dot resource at the world position, and we can pass that in here. Cool. So then, okay, so yeah, so now when I'm getting the resource under the mouse, it is getting it just as the actual resource. Cool. Terrain bomb, add resources. Oh, so, okay. All right, so I think, yes, this should be a resource type. And then this. Okay, so this also needs to be a resource type, which means okay, we're ready to go into the world. This one might be a bit of a scary one. Is there anything up here? No. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. No. Cool. I thought I was gonna have to do the whole hard coding thing again, but this has already got these in it. Okay. Cool. Good. Yes. So, world. These just need to be updated to world resource types. And this is, oh, actually, so this is something that I need to add in. Is so I had this slag resource. Have I still got my resources here? That's not what I wanted. I wanted the resource manager. So I had a slag resource. I don't know where it is. Yeah. And basically it like costs you money to when you mine it rather than giving money. And my idea behind that is maybe it like gums up your drill or something. I don't know. It's just an undesirable resource, but I think it's good to have a negative resource in there. But this was just a rock thing, but it's now going to have to be its own type, I think. So in resource type, and I guess I'd put it here. Don't know what to call it. Slag. I'm going to stick with slag for the moment, and this also means that I'll need to remember to load it. Where did I put it? Under rock. That makes sense. And I guess I just give it number 6. Where were we? Where were we? Here. No. We're up here. Yeah, so I guess I don't need to do that here because this is just always getting done. So I can do that in the world params. And but I don't know if I want it in the, no, I don't think that's right because I don't want it as a precious resource, but I want it to be generated as if it's like the same way that the precious resources are generated. So I think I just want to do it here where I do resource type dot slag. Add that in. That's good. Okay, so this is where we are generating the world. Okay, and so get ID is not a thing anymore. Maybe I need to make some little a little helper as well. No, that's silly. I think I can just use the map. So this is choosing a semi-precious material, gets the first one, and then gets the ID. But we don't have the ID, so we need to just go resource. No, what is it? Type to ID dot get that. You know what? Down here. No, where was it? I did a get or default somewhere. Here. Get or default null. I'm going to do a getter. No, I'm going to leave it. I was thinking because then it can throw an error, but it can throw an error up here, and then I can, if it compiles, we're on. Okay. So types. Yeah. So we're getting a random semi-precious material, and then getting the ID for it, and storing that. Rigid body for floating piece of moon, Wayne. Well, I could actually do the only. I can have a bit of floating. Oh no, I can't do rigid body. That would be cool. Having like a chunk of world that flies around. I can have like floating chunks of moon, but the gravity is just assuming that there's a center of mass in the middle of the asteroid. Um, there would be a way of figuring out where the center of masses are and doing gravity accordingly, but yeah. I think I should have a list of all types somewhere, maybe in resource type. Yeah, good luck having collision with dynamic shape. Yeah, exactly. The collision detection in this game is garbage because it's all image based. So Nick, sorry, I think you should have a list of all types somewhere, maybe in resource type. In what do you mean by that? Or do I need the ID here? Yeah, so this is in the world file that's doing the actual world generation and stuff. And so this is just getting the... So what the way the world generation works is that I've got the 3 different like tiers of material, and it basically creates like a Voronoi map of all of the world, and then fills it in. But so it's getting the list of materials here, and then this is where we're creating the actual image. So it needs to use the ID, like the int ID. So here, there's a random chance that any one cell of the Voronoi noise will become semi-precious. And so then I can store that in the type here. But otherwise, if it's in the strata materials, I'm going to have to do more stuff here. So this will be types to ID as well. Oh, I didn't do the actual function. Silly.get. And then this will be also, I think this is just a backup default thing as well. Like that. And so then this uses that. Oh, this should just be get first. I think it has a whinge when I do that. So yeah, this figures out the type ID, and then I put that in this map here. And then I use that further down somewhere. Where do I use that? Oh, and then I actually get the color using the resource ID, which is that type that I figured out up here. But so yeah, this is where we do need the actual ID. So this is the next error. So this will be again where I need to figure out the health stuff. Yeah, so I need the ID because this is going into the actual image, which is basically like the tile map. And so I need it as an integer. Because it used to do this get terrain color thing. So in the resource, get terrain color. Oh, and it's already packed for me. So terrain color. Oh, that's nice and easy, isn't it? It's basically the ID, and then because it's at full health, this is just maxed out. So I think I can just do resource ID like that. And then that sets the actual pixel to this color with the resource ID as the red channel. And that's how I can know in the shader what resource it is. So that's good. Okay, so then what's this? This is still generating stuff. So yeah, this is now generating the precious resources, which end up as little dots all around the place. So this will be as a resource type. Resource type. Yeah, I'm not sure I've done the best job of explaining that, sorry. But basically, in the code, like you're suggesting, everything should be using the enum, I think. But then the actual terrain data is basically entirely used within a shader. And so I need to be able to know what type the tile is inside the shader, and I'm doing that with the red channel on the image. So yeah, that's why I need the ID. Night, dog. I don't know why I said it like that. Sorry. Good night, dog. Hope you have a good sleep. And yeah, thanks for hanging out. It's been good. So yes, resource type. Oh, so there's, yeah, again, need to do the palette stuff here. Resource palette stuff as always. And for the moment, we will just make it white. Yes, okay, cool. But yeah, so this will eventually be using the palette for the terrain data. I think if anyone's come in halfway through this stream, they're going to have no idea what's going on. Sorry about that. Maybe I can do a quick recap. I don't know if there's anyone new watching, but basically, we're getting rid of individual resources and replacing them with just some simplified resource types. And yeah, that's basically the big difference. That we're doing a massive refactor. Okay, so why do I need the ID here? Oh, I'm using it as a in the hash. Okay. So this will be. Look, I don't know what's going on half the time, so yeah, I don't blame you for not knowing what's going on. It's just basically anywhere I see resource, I'm replacing with resource type. That's what's going on. Resource type. Actually, so I need types to ID dot get resource type. I think it's hard to keep track of everything that's going on because I'm zipping around all these files that you have no idea what the structure of is. And so like just as you get familiar with one file maybe or one area of the code base, I'm like moving on to somewhere else where it's also broken. So sorry about that. Okay, so is slag. Why do I need to do that? Oh, because I need to know if I'm making this bit slag or not. That makes sense. Okay, so is slag is literally as easy as resource type equals resource type dot slag. That's nice. Local variable is no. Okay. Okay, so is slag. That's good. Where's the next error here? Oh, look at this. That's nice. If it's gem or if it's mineral. Oh yeah, so this is one thing that I was doing. Although mineral will probably no longer be a thing because that's going to be now the semi-precious stuff. So I can get rid of that. So if it's a gem, I draw it as a square, and if it's metal, I draw it as a circle. So that's fun. That's a nice little detail. And then, yeah. So this will be. So then, yeah, this is like right in the middle of the asteroid. I will always put in the core. Hang on, I'll get up a picture so you know what I'm talking about. Where am I going? That's it. Screenshot. Need to get an old picture so that you can actually see the because now there's fog everywhere. Yeah, so this is now adding in that central bit here is what's going on, and that's here, and that's was called Stardust apparently. Yes, so this will just be, again, I need to do a to-do here. This will be on the palette. Although I'm thinking, I think probably, I've got so much stuff open. The core material will always just be a single color, probably. Just to make it nice and easy, so you know. But yeah, for the moment, again, I'm going to make it white. But this will be use resource type palette. And then I'll have the same exact thing down here. Cool. Okay, moving on. So what's this? So this is when we're applying the damage. So this needs to be a resource type. This uses the this is where the shaders get a bit funky. Sorry, I need to shut some windows. Cool. Okay. Yeah, this is where the shader stuff can get a bit funky because this is where it's doing the actual damage to the terrain. And basically it's using this shader storage buffer object. This is some old code. Get resource. Oh yeah, so this is just, I think this is again just going from the ID to the resource. Do I have, yeah, so resource manager. I'm just going to check that. So get resource. Yeah, so it's just converting it. Cool. So this should be do you need to pass the ID when I should be passing the string? As in into the shader for the, like as in the tile information? Because I think I've got both in there. Because I've got the, well, see, I've got the health, which is essentially the strength in the blue, green, and alpha channel. But I also need the ID because when I'm applying damage, your drill bit can do extra damage depending on what type what type of terrain it is that you're damaging. So like for example, you could have a drill bit that's strong against rock type, and so I need to know when I'm applying the damage, which is done in a shader, the material type in order to know what damage extra is being done from your and you need the ID to detect the type 1. Yeah, so the type is sort of, it's unfortunate, but it is necessary, I think. But yes, I do need the type, yeah, or the ID rather. Okay, so so I need to try and remember how this buffer object works. I think the buffs. How many buffs do I have? 256. Okay. I need to actually look at the damage thing. So I have got a, yeah, materials. Atomic add materials. Yeah, so the type, the ID of the, yeah, okay. I should probably rename this to be resource ID. But so the resource ID is the index into the shader buffer object. So that means that, where were we? Were we here? I think we were here. Yes. So yes, this I is the resource ID. So I should actually just get the resource type equals ID to types dot get. Actually, this one should be a get or default because I'm going through the whole list. And there might not necessarily be a resource for the ID that I'm going up to. So ID to types get or default, and we use I, and we default to null. And so then this can just be if the resource type does not equal null, then, and we don't put, so material counts, where am I making that? Here, and this should be a resource type. Yes, and then instead of that, I can put the resource type, and I think that's good. Okay, cool. So that's the applying damage. Good. And then down here, so gets okay. This is nice and easy because I've already typed the typed it in the params, but I'll need to figure out where does that get used. Hey. Yeah. Oh, this is a big refactor. Starting to realize the consequences of my actions. Hopefully a lot of it's like this, where it's just renaming, like retyping things. Mind resources. Okay, so this will have to be a resource type as well. And that will have to be a resource type. Good. So then, resource. Yeah, okay, cool. It is quite nice having this enum, because then I can just use it as a key all over the place in various things, and I don't have to use the ID. It is kind of nice. I do like it. Yes. Okay, so add to value. So this will be expecting, yeah, that, but I actually need this. So this again will be a resource type, and this will be a resource type. Resource type. Cool. So then here, that's fixed. Okay. Now, so this is, sorry, I should explain where I am. This is for your drill. In your drill, you've got the different components, and this is the effect components. So this is, a few of these do things with resources that you've just mined. So for example, this refinery one, you can convert basic resources into precious ones at a rate that's relative to how much input it's getting. And so yeah, the mined resources map was using the integers, and it needs to use the resource type instead. So that's been converted, and then this money printer one can directly convert resources into money, which can be helpful because there's other components that get stronger the more money you've got. So you can actually build it up as you're mining. But anyway, that's where we are at the moment, is in the actual effects. And so these mined resources now use the resource type instead of an ID. That's good. What's this one? Slag filter. Yeah, okay, so this one lets you remove slag. So ID, resources. Okay, so this can just be, get rid of this. Quantity equals mined resource. So this will be resource type dot slag. Nice and easy. And this will be resource type dot slag as well. Oh, have a quick little drinky poo. All right. Onwards. Okay. And what's this one? Duplicate stuff. Yes. Okay. So this should be a resource type. And that's nice and easy. Cool. Another file down. We are actually, I think we're actually doing pretty well here. We're doing all right. I think I can shut a whole bunch of these files. That's good. Okay, so what's wrong here? I don't think that I will need that anymore. Let me just check. Oh, this is in the terrain shader. Yeah, I don't even use that. Cool. That's good. That's good. Cool. Okay, so now to see how many places it's still going wrong. Okay, asteroid belt. What's going on in here? Generating the KPIs, don't need to do that anymore, although I should figure out where that's being called. I see. Okay, yeah. Close that. Not close that. Comment that out. And then KPI screen. Just going to do that. And then I should get to the game state. KPI, get rid of that. And then figure out where that is being used. I guess it'll just become one of the errors that we see. Okay, this can also just be commented out. Gee, this is a pretty brutal code, like a refactor. Pretty brutal. If KPI, you missed your KPI, that's all good. Don't care about KPIs anymore. Apply damage. Okay, yes, so this should be resource type. Where is that getting used? Find resources. Good. So this should also be resource type. Shut that. So again, this is in the drill stuff, doing stuff with the information of the stuff you've just mined. Sorry, I'm a bit hungry. I'm gonna have a little snack. Sorry, I took way too big of a bite and it took me forever to chew that. I don't know if that's too like ASMR. Sorry. Hopefully it's not too bad. Maybe I should like mute the mic. Don't know what I'm doing though. Okay. So that stuff is all good. So now when I run it, how many errors? Still quite a few. That's all right though. We're getting there. I'm assuming once all the errors disappear, everything's gonna still be on fire. But I think what I would like to do by the end of this stream is get everything so that there are no more errors. And then the next stream will be figuring out probably everything that I need to do to make it work again. So that'll be good. That will be good. Okay, so we've got another slag thing here. So I can get rid of that. Oh, did not mean to do that. Get rid of that. And then I can just use the actual enum. Yes, for the slag. Good. And then this will be a resource type. Resource type. I can get rid of that. So then if resource does not equal null and the resource type equals the type that we've selected, then we can do that. I'm gonna have another little bite. Let me know if it's too distracting if I'm chewing. I'll try and keep it away from the mic, but we'll see how we go. Okay. So, in the sound manager. Oh yeah, because I got a sound for each different. Oh, but it is based on the type, so that's good. That's good. So then when we collect a resource, that should now be a resource type. And then we can just we can just use the, why did that go integer? Resource type, okay, and then we can use that collected resource.a .name, yes, good. Sorry, it's nearly lunchtime and I'm getting a bit snacky, so I've been snacking. Okay, so the sound manager's all good. I think we actually might be getting relatively close here. Although I say that, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that's still cooked down here. But it's honestly, I think the big files are probably done. So this should be resource type. I think the big files are kind of mostly done. This should be that. And that should be that as well. So again, most of this is just converting from IDs to these resource types. Resource type, resource type, resource type. So this is on the overview screen. Hover resource tools, resource type. This will be resource type dot icon. Good. So I think, yeah, it should be relatively straightforward. Yeah, and we moved this to the draw thing, I think. So draw dot, what was it? Resource hover info panel. And we pass in the resource now. Cool, good. Good, good, good. And then we're on to the stats tracker. Okay. Let's have a look. So this should be a resource type. Resource type and resource type. Resource type is the first thing in that pair. So I can get rid of that. And we can get the stat name for the resource type.name. Cool. Good, good, good. All right. So, and now we shall get some more errors when we try and run this. Oh, we're back to having errors in the draw. Oh, it's because I got rid of the color stuff. Yeah, this is going to have to be. This is going to have to be something that I do in the future. A future me problem. Okay, cool. To do figure out colors for drill bits. And for the moment, we can default it to a new float array full of full of ones. And actually, that's not even the syntax for that, but that's okay. We're getting there. And actually, is this? Yes, 4 coordinates. Okay, cool. Good. Next, we are actually, I think we're getting relatively close. I think we're getting relatively close to this being done. So I think I don't want to go to the KPI screen anymore because I have absolutely nuked them. Look at that. Gone. Just need to make sure that I'm going to the right thing afterwards and I'm in the wrong spot to know that KPI screen. Where did I go? So I need to, okay, go there. Ship. Okay. Maybe I should just go straight there then, rather than doing this whole thing. Yeah, okay. So this should be going to the ship. Good. What next? Item unlock screen. Ah, yeah, this is also a bit of a hacky hack thing. Actually, no, it's not that. I think that's legit. Ship screen. Okay. Yes, KPI. So, I think I can just do that. It's nice getting rid of all this KPI stuff. Just ripping it out. It's good. Okay, and then I think if we run this, we're not gonna. I think everything's still gonna be like completely busted, and there'll probably be runtime errors. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'll try and fix a few of these, and then we'll see. We'll see where we end up. But we're at least getting things running again, which is nice. So at least it's compiling. We're on the right track. What is going on here? So we have index out of bounds. Where world params. Okay. So this is getting the materials. Oh, so this is trying to generate the asteroid belt. So get materials. It doesn't like this. Probably because semi-precious materials. I don't need to do this because there's only one semi-precious material. I wonder if it's as simple as that. It could well be as simple as that. It was not as simple as that. Oh, so it could just be that I was trying to select like am I even checking that the maximum is doable? No, I'm not. So the max, both the min and the max should be capped to like the number of items in the array. So min equals and the list dot size, and same thing for the max should be that as well. Just constrain it, and hopefully that's what was causing the issue. Okay. We're getting somewhere. Look at this. So everything's like bland as and white because I've just put in white everywhere. So that's good. So we can select an asteroid. The drill bit somehow still has a color. Not sure how that works, but that's alright. What if we go to the asteroid? Oh, that's brilliant. That is fun. That is very fun. I don't know how some of this is working and some of it's not. But this is kind of this is kind of cool. Look, so we look, we've made it. We've made it some way. Yeah. This is good. So what's this? Mineral and powder. Okay. I wonder if there was any rock on this one. I don't know. Yes, maybe. Rock. Yes. So we can use a bomb. Somehow I'm like infinitely mining. There's no core in the middle. That's alright. I can somehow just... Oh no, I can't infinitely get it. Maybe it's like... don't know. But yeah, so I think I might call it here for today. So we've gotten somewhere towards... I think the guts have been ripped out, and yeah, next stream we'll be putting some different guts back in. But this is promising. This is a good start. I mean, I don't know how I managed to make so much money. I don't know where it's getting the price information from, actually, you know? I don't know how it's figuring that out. Interesting. But yeah, I think that will be it for today. I'm sorry, it was probably not the most interesting of streams because it was just a lot of copying and replacing and finding and replacing and stuff. So yeah, not maybe the most interesting, but I think the next one should be quite interesting again because that will be I'll be making it all work properly again rather than just having the basic. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, it looked kind of cool, the terrain. Oh, see, this is what I was expecting for the drill bits, just to be white. But yeah, everything's been like bleached. But yeah, I kind of don't mind the look of this with the question marks. It's kind of funny. So there is some, but yeah, some resources for some reason are getting colors and textures. So I don't know what's up with that. So yeah, like here, don't know how that's working. But yeah, so next stream we'll be making this actually work again. Probably figuring out all the color palettes and stuff, doing that, and then yeah, that will be the next stream. But so yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for keeping my sanity in check while I was doing this refactor. And yeah, next stream, like I say, will be probably, hopefully, a lot better than this one. If you want to, sorry, if you want to, the muesli bar is going down the wrong way. Oh, sorry about that. Jeez, I don't know what's going on. The music bar is not sitting happy. But if you want to keep track of everything that's going on, sorry, I'm so sorry. If you want to keep track of everything that is going on, the best place to do that is probably on the Discord channel, which will be linked in the description. And yeah, hope to see you again soon. Thanks for watching. It's been good.